Welcome to week 6, English 112 students. You're almost there. We're almost to the end. You got week 6, week 7, week 8. You're almost done. More than halfway there. I wanted to congratulate you on making it this far and to tell you to keep going. Keep going. You're almost done. You'll be rewarded with success if you complete all these things. So this week, week 6, we're jumping into module D. We're only going to do a couple of assignments this week. You're going to have D1, D2, D3, and D4. D5 is just a folder that gives you the instructions for the research assignment that you'll be working on in the D module. Remember that in the C module, you put together all of your research to do this concept essay. You put it all together. You started a research log. You learned what to use and how to use it. You learned how to integrate stuff into the paragraphs. And when using the source chart, doing the source chart, that put all those things together for you. Learning how to use research, incorporate it into your sentences, give credit to your authors, summarize what the source says, not just leaving a quote there. All those things were accomplished through doing the source chart assignment. And the reason we did that was to get you ready for Module D. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here in a second and show you the things that we're doing in Module D. But basically, D1 is a reading response. I'll show you these in a second. I just want to give you a verbal summary. D1 is a reading response where you will read an essay and then annotate it like you do in the wheel assignments in Connect. It is a wheel assignment through Connect. So that's D1. It's called the reading response. D2 is a e-text reading, the chapter reading, and a Connect assignment. It's called writing with research, choosing modes of development, how to develop the information you're presenting in your paragraphs of your essay. D3 is another e-text and chapter and Connect assignment. It's called Writing with Research Using Sources Responsibly. So basically going over how you give academic credit to someone who you're using sources from without committing plagiarism. And then D4 is the only real assignment that you'll be submitting that you have to write. It's an outline for your research essay. I want to see that you've got a plan for that thing and that you're not just going to go by the seat of your pants when you go to write it. I always like to tell my students that imagine a contractor showing up on a house to build with no blueprint. All right. An outline is your blueprint for your essay. So if you'll look at the D4 folder, when we do in a second, you'll see there's lots of resources there for you to look at. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now so that we can look at those things together. I hope you can see everything here and still see me. You'll see that the D module is not open yet. It will be as soon as I create this video and post it. But taking a look at those things I just mentioned, D1 here, the reading response, that's the wheel assignment. D2 is the Connect. D3 is a Connect as well. D4 is the outline assignment that you'll submit as a Blackboard assignment. And then D5 is the folder with the resources and the instructions for the essay. That's what we'll spend most of the time today looking at. So if we open the D module, you're going to go down and notice the first thing is that we will continue to use the research log in the D module. The instructions are very similar. It says here down at the bottom of the reminders, in addition to the 5 entries that you added to in Module C, you will or should include at least 3 more entries before the research essay that's due at the end of Module D. That means that you should have a minimum of 8 sources entries in the research log by the time you submit your research paper. There are penalties down here. Remember that. If any sources are in the research essay but not in the log, 10 points per source will be deducted from the final research essay grade. That's very important. Make sure that you do that. If there's anything else that you didn't put in the first research log that you want in your essay, then go ahead and put it in there this time. You can have more than 8. It's okay. You can have as many as you want, but there should be at least 8 of them, and they should follow these instructions and rules right here, okay? So make sure you do that. If you have any questions, let me know. So the D1 assignment is that power of process assignment. If you need a refresher on how to do that, watch the video that's there. It opens in a new window. It tells you how to complete this type of assignment. You're encouraged to review Chapter 7, the Exploring Concepts from last module to refresh your memory before you do that assignment. D2 and D3 are both the Connect assignments, the readings with the Connect assignments. Make sure you complete those before the end of the week. Again, I have reduced the number of concepts there. So that means that you don't have to do as many as you would have to do in a normal semester. The outline, let's take a look at that. It contains the instructions, the link to the assignment, and a sample outline. So the D4 research report outline assignment, review the instructions below, create an outline that includes all the required sections, the content and the sources, and upload your outline here as a Word or PDF document. So it says during module C and D, you've been researching your topic, you've been locating sources, you've been learning how to quote, all those things. Now it's time to pull all that work together as you plan your essay. Your research log will be an important tool for the outline, and you should consult your entries as you work on planning, drafting, and revising. The outline and the essay in this module should cover the same topic that I approved in module C and that you researched for your source chart assignment. This essay will document your personal research experience, so you'll need to write many of the passages in the first person. The outline in the essay should include 3 sections. Number 1, the introduction. Number 2, the research process and the research results. And then 3, the reflection on the research. The first section, the introduction, should only be 1 to 2 paragraphs, and it should do these things. Your thesis will be at the end of that second paragraph, turning your main research question into a statement that's based on the research that you've done. Section 2, multiple paragraphs. You're going to do the research process and the results. Use your log entries and your sources to develop this outline part. Each paragraph should trace the steps you took in your research process and include the key ideas you found in your research that shaped your new understanding. You should organize the paragraphs in chronological order so that your reader can follow your process easily. And a lot of times you're going to cover more than one source per paragraph, but if you engage with many ideas from a single source, you might want to break up the information into multiple paragraphs. Include 5 to 7 sources in the outline of the essay. For each paragraph, you're going to do these things. Explain what tools and resources you used, discuss the value of the source, briefly summarize the source, include any quotes or paraphrases or summaries that you plan on using in the essay, include your response to what you learned from the source, and then trace the development of your research questions as you found the information. How did the source contribute to your understanding of your question? Did you change your questions? What did you learn? And so on. As you continue planning each paragraph, you'll need to shape your process logically. Explain why you selected the source. I wanted this as an alternate viewpoint. I wanted this to answer a new question. I wanted this to find more data, etc. Respond to the source's ideas by agreeing, disagreeing, or connecting it with other sources. And then show how your total research, the cumulative research that you've created up to this point, shaped your understanding and led to more questions that you might have had. The third section here is the reflection. It's only 1 paragraph. You're going to reflect on your search, discuss any challenges you had and what you did to overcome them, describe the significance of your research, and then conclude your journey and explain where you are now when you're thinking about your topic. The sources, you must include an MLA Works Cited page with the sources you referenced in your outline. Here's an outline example to take a look at. Another one is here. I think this one's not available for you to see. Sorry, I should have that. So I'm confusing you. A sample outline here, exploring the use of the Scottish bagpipes in St. Patrick's Day celebrations. So you'll see that this is an outline someone created, or it's an example outline based on an idea for a cultural concept essay. So it should look something like this one, or the one that's the example here, okay? So take a look at that. That's the D4 research outline assignment. Below that is the last thing we'll look at this week. It's the research essay assignment instructions and resources. It tells you the purpose of the essay, why we're writing this essay, to demonstrate you've continued to use the steps in both the writing and the research process. Additionally, your work should demonstrate understanding of direction or focus, cohesion, unity, and support. And finally, your draft should show you have applied the grammar and punctuation rules that you're working on the GPS activities that are due at the end of the semester. The skills and knowledge you'll need, knowing how to find credible information is important. And then this AI guide. It says here that AI can be used to revise and edit your essay, not write it, revise and edit. But if you do this, your original work with no AI content or no AI revisions must be submitted along with the AI assisted version. So you have to show me what you submitted to AI before, and then what you're submitting to me as a final draft based on the revisions that AI. For this paper, you're going to compose a research report in the style of the report samples we've read in the textbook and also in Blackboard. Follow these steps to complete the assignment. The criteria are here. It's an information or informative and reflection type of essay. The audience is academic, meaning you'll maintain that academic tone. The length is 1,200 to 1,500 words, and you need at least 5 to 7 sources. It says that at least 3 of these sources should be scholarly sources, so they got to be peer-reviewed sources. All of your sources must be credible. If you're using a website or a blog or anything, it has to be credible. You have to show that it's credible. So make sure you do the extra work to be any source from your source chart and your research log, but you're not required to use all of them. MLA in-text citations and a works cited page, and then you'll submit it in Blackboard via the link at the end of the D module. Again, this essay is not due until the end of the D module at end. The content and instruction here, this is kind of the same thing that I told you when we looked at the outline. I'm not going to go over that again. And then the usage and style here, read over this information. I want an interesting title that reflects the topic. I want logical and coherent writing. I want the appropriate style and tone. I want precise vocabulary and varied sentence structure, and so on. Read the rest of those. Below that are a couple sample essays. If you open this folder, you're going to see that there's one that's not on a cultural concept, gender, and a philosophical topic. But here is one that explores a cultural concept, the Irish bagpipe. So it goes with that outline that I showed you earlier. One step back. Here is the rubric for the essay showing you how I will grade it. That is it, folks. Those are the assignments for the week. Make sure that you take a look over those. If you have any questions, please email me. Again, I want to say one more thing. You're not bothering me when you email me. I don't care if you email me at 4 o'clock in the morning. I might not read it right then, but you're not bothering me by emailing me. That's my job. You don't have to say sorry for bothering you or I hope I'm not bothering you. It's my job to be listening for you guys' emails and looking out for them and to be answering them the best I can. So you're not bothering me at all. I promise that. If you're having any issues and you want to meet with me virtually via Teams or Zoom, we can do that. Just let me know. Reach out to me. Okay, you're almost there. You can do this. I have faith. Make sure that you reach out to me if there are any issues. Have a good week. Thank you again.